The Bohemian Grove, a place where strange and frightening things have been happening for over a century and a half. Every year, the world's wealthiest and most influential people flock to a sequoia grove in Sonoma County, California. Notably, these gatherings consistently coincide with the summer solstice. This mysterious organization, known as the Bohemian Club, has existed for over 150 years, counting U.S. presidents, wealthy and influential figures, cultural personalities, and government officials among its members. In other words, the elite. You might wonder, what's the problem? What's wrong with rich men gathering in an all-male company in a mysterious place? But these are much more serious matters, and this place is actually the center of everything happening in the world. That's why you need to know about this place. The Bohemian Club presents itself as a private club founded in 1872 for regular meetings of journalists, artists, and musicians. Within a few years, it began admitting businessmen and entrepreneurs, while also offering temporary membership to university presidents. The Bohemian Grove consists of thousands of acres of virgin forest near Monte Rio, California. If you want to hold a secret meeting, there's no better place. In the late 80s, police began discovering human remains in this area, and several disappearances were reported. But for some reason, these investigations were terminated and never resumed. During the day, club members sip cocktails and enjoy fresh air, while government officials deliver reports, conference halls buzz with activity, and plenary sessions take place, including lectures called Lakeside Talks. People sit in cafeterias and bars discussing politics and science. It all resembles a scientific congress or a university field event. But when night falls, everything changes. The Bohemian Grove territory is dotted with camps bearing strange names: Mandalay, Lost Angels, Silverado Settlement. A 40-foot owl totem towers over the Grove's lake in a place called the Owl Shrine. Though it more closely resembles a pagan sacrificial altar, the owl symbolizes secret knowledge and worldly burdens, making it the patron of this organization. Inside the totem are electrical and audio equipment, and during rituals, the owl speaks and emits light. Previously, there stood a Buddha statue twice the height of the owl in this spot. The Grove's motto, taken from Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, reads, "Weaving spiders come not here." It's a warning against business talk, which is ignored anyway. Many consider it just a parody of paganism. They're having fun, relaxing, worshiping an owl. Yes, the rich have their quirks. As they say, such things happen at many festivals. For example, at Burning Man, they also burn effigies. What's the big deal? They just want to remember their youth and do strange things away from home? That's how newspapers write about this event. This viewpoint was repeated in many commissioned articles in the 80s, when media began leaking rumors about the horrific and monstrous things happening in the Bohemian Grove. Let's start with the most obvious. What connects Bohemian Club members? They're all white men, mostly belonging to the Republican Party. Not one of the thousands of Bohemian Club members throughout history has been Black, Jewish, Hindu, or Muslim. The list of club participants deserves special attention. Although the list of over 2,000 members is secret, some personalities have been spotted at Bohemian Grove. Among them are presidents Herbert Hoover, Ronald Reagan, and Richard Nixon, as well as numerous famous writers, actors, and businessmen. Imagine, hundreds of men, U.S. presidents, several invited prime ministers or chancellors from foreign countries, oil company titans, heads of corporate giants, Hollywood actors, secretaries of state, the defense secretary, the Federal Reserve chairman, and this list goes on endlessly. They walk around carelessly and scantily dressed, urinate on trees and along footpaths, and behave incredibly ungentlemanly. Among the participants, names mentioned include Clint Eastwood, Henry Kissinger, Walter Cronkite, writers Mark Twain, and Jack London. This photo was taken in the Grove back in '63. In the photo, you see Ronald Reagan and, sitting 2 people away from him, Richard Nixon, who later became president. At the turn of the 20th century, there were so many people wanting to join the club that a 10 to 15-year waiting list appeared. When someone's turn came up, they had to donate to the club treasury a modest entrance fee of just $25,000. Interesting fact, the most famous Manhattan Project planning meeting in '42 didn't happen in the White House, but right here in the Bohemian Grove. and this meeting later led to the development of America's first atomic bomb. Many journalists have tried to infiltrate the Bohemian Grove over time, but few succeeded. The most striking investigation was the 2000 report by Alex Jones, Mike Hansen, and John Ronson. Together, they infiltrated the Bohemian Grove and even managed to film shocking footage of what happens there, specifically the cremation of care ritual. Here are several things they discovered while there. The rituals conducted by the Bohemian Club are real and taken seriously by all members. No one does this as a joke. Several U.S. presidents visited the Bohemian Grove about a year before taking office and personally participated in rituals. The Bohemian Club funded the development of the space around the U.S. Capitol in Washington. And strangely enough, the territory forms an owl symbol. Each ritual had clearly satanic symbolism, including the owl as a conductor between the world of the living and the dead, closely connected to Moloch, the biblical Moabite deity mentioned in the Bible, to whom children were sacrificed. The owl, seeing in darkness, is the conductor of sacrificed souls from the world of the living to the world of the dead. Here's how journalists describe the ritual they witnessed in the Bohemian Grove.
Suddenly, an old-fashioned boat appeared on the western shore with a reaper and a bound body. It carried to shore. He brought the bound body to the high priest, who waited at the owl's foot. Then, in the most horrific way, two black-clad reapers rubbed and stroked the sacrificial body and brought it to the owl. The body begged for mercy through the acoustic system. They denied it. They carried it to the altar. The great owl commanded them to burn what looked like a human body wrapped in black cloth. Right above the altar burned a large stone lamp called the Eternal Flame. The high priest took an unlit torch and lit it with this flame. The body again begged for mercy. Then the high priest descended and lit the fire. The body continued to scream in pain. Suddenly, all those small metal crosses we saw on the shore during the day lit up. Burning metal crosses, priests in red-black robes, and the high priest in silver garments with a red cape, the burning body screaming in pain, the giant stone owl. World leaders, bankers, celebrities, and heads of scientific circles engaging in this activity. It was complete madness. So, the ritual ended, and all the old men began to disperse and return to the Great Hall in the giant sequoia forest.
If in the late 19th century the Bohemian Club was still a respected organization, in the 20th century it became a place of initiation into ruling circles. Why do such wealthy, famous, and influential people engage in something like this? The truth is that the satanic ritual and worship of Moloch are instruments of maintaining power, as Moloch himself has been considered a bestower of benefits, a kind of prosperity guarantor since ancient times. Researchers like Alex Jones were convinced that each club member sincerely believed in the seriousness of what was happening. Alex Jones and his team, when present at the Bohemian Grove, indeed couldn't capture real evidence of sacrifice. However, they were only present for one night, which was like the season opening. But what might they have seen if they hadn't been scared and stayed for at least one more day? In conclusion, the problem of modern society is reflected in practices and events like the Bohemian Grove. Cruelty and impunity, shrouded in mystery and compressed by a layer of secrecy, only fuel interest and bewilderment. Regardless of what actually happens there, it undoubtedly presents interest for researchers and journalists.